Yo, what up guys, it's Juan. So today we're doing a bit of a retro rewind, going back in time to the mid-90s and taking a look at my personal first ever console, and that is going to be the Nintendo 64. So for me personally, whenever I think of the Nintendo 64 or the N64, however you want to call it, I always think back to the mid-90s, the late 90s when I was a kid up in Jersey. And it's always super nostalgic to look back at those games and just kind of reminisce a little bit. The Nintendo 64 was Nintendo's console that was really pushing the boundary of 3D graphics at that time. In retrospect, it's obviously not on par with what you see from Nintendo's Switch, Sony's PS5, or Microsoft's Xbox Series X. However, for the mid to late 90s, this was cutting edge technology, along with the original PlayStation and the Sega Dreamcast. This had Super Mario 64, Bomberman 64, Ocarina of Time. As far as Zelda's concerned, you had Super Mario Kart, all these games that were really pushing the boundary, and this was all back in a time when you could definitely plug in 4 physical controllers, bring your friends over, and have a blast all night playing all of these games. This is the first console that Super Smash Bros. Ended up launching on, and that was my personal favorite game for this console. I can definitely remember being a kid up in New Jersey playing this with my cousin all night, along with other games, whether it was Mario Kart, etc. This game and this console is always super nostalgic for me. The N64 was a console that had a lot of accessories that you could add on to basically better your gaming experience. Among those was the expansion pack for the N64, basically upping up the total amount of RAM that the console could actually use. Some games actually required the expansion pack to actually play. That pretty much included Donkey Kong 64, Majora's Mask, and then one other that's kind of slipping my mind at the moment. But nonetheless, you could get a bump in resolution for some games if you actually did use the expansion pack. So you had a lot of other accessories as well. So you had a rumble pack and a controller pack for the N64. So the rumble pack was actually pretty groundbreaking, simply because I remember it being the very first rumble feature on a controller during that time period. So it did take 2 AAA batteries. You would basically snap it into the controller itself. It would rumble during different sequences of events during video games and such. That was super cool. You also needed a controller pack though, so that was like the first memory card, so to speak. You would pretty much need to pop it into a second controller though, which was a bit of a downside if you wanted to use both a rumble pack and a controller pack for certain games to actually like have save files for games. So you did have to sacrifice a little bit, but that was a bit of a workaround. So the reason this console is so nostalgic for me is because it reminds me of being a kid. This was pre-LAN parties, pre-online gaming. It was very much a localized kind of gaming, either with friends, your family, whoever it was. You could pop in 4 controllers directly into the console, play some solid Mario Kart, get some Super Smash Bros. Action, etc. This is super awesome. Mario Party was also a really fun game for this one. It actually launched originally on the N64, so just a ton of games for this console that were gems. Among them was like Jet Force Gemini. I used to love that game. Pokemon Stadium, all of that stuff is just super good. If you've never played an N64, now would be a good time to actually start collecting some of these games before they start bumping up in price. And yeah, just a great console overall. Very nostalgic for me. If you're looking to play this console though, in modern times, you will definitely need an adapter for your HDMI cable, specifically because a lot of TVs nowadays do not have component or composite ports on the back of TVs, unless you are rocking a CRTV or one of the first few generations of flat screen TVs. So you will need one. The one that I ended up opting for is the Ion HDMI adapter. It is a bit pricey if you can find it on eBay. However, it is a good, solid adapter. It's super easy. It's plug and play. It upscales a little bit and fixes some of the pixels and jagged edges on the screen for you as well. So just a good overall adapter. If you cannot find that, I've heard some of the other ones are also really good. However, if you can, this one's super easy. You just pop it in, you plug in your HDMI, and you're done. Again, this console is incredible as far as I'm concerned. I'm not gonna lie to you, I am completely biased towards that. I'm very well aware of it. I'm going to give this an A+. If you have not played the N64, or if it's been a while since you have played it, I think you definitely should take a look at the console again. you know, for that nostalgia, to feel like a kid again. Alright guys, that's pretty much it. If you liked the video, you know what to do. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not. Comment down below as well with any questions or comments that you might have on the Nintendo 64 or other consoles that you might want me to review in the future. I have a few other ones that I have in mind that I might want to look back at. So if you have any suggestions, let me know. I'll take a look at it. So aside from that, it's Juan, and I'll catch you guys next time.